The public input meeting becomes heated at times tonight. Neighbors took turns venting their frustrations at Virginia Beach city officials. The public was invited to a meeting about the Burton Station strategic growth area. The plans were adopted in 2009, but neighbors feel the city has barely acted on them. Chanu Her has more on what people had to say. Chanu?
Well, Arrianee, representatives from the city's planning division came to the meeting with plans and updates to the project. After the presentation, they opened it up to the audience for questions and comments. That was when some people voiced their frustrations, but in the end, both sides did come to an agreement on a few things.
What was appealing was this quiet little home
tucked inside the L&J Gardens neighborhood in Virginia Beach.
A forest by the sea.
Is where Lori Moody chose to retire.
Because we got the Chesapeake Bay, we got the Atlantic Ocean.
She left California for Virginia a year ago after working for years in the asset-based community development field.
The idea of asset-based community development has the systems leading from the back and have the people in the front.
It was that experience and belief
There should have been a conversation about a steering committee that included the community
that led her to this meeting with Virginia Beach city officials. It was a public input meeting for the Burton Station Village area development near the Norfolk Airport. Mark Shea,
you can live, shop, and work in the same area,
is a comprehensive planning coordinator with the city. The plans brought Monday night showed a mixed-use development for the area, which was adopted in 2009.
There's been a lot of changes in the land use and zoning since then, so we just want to make sure that they're comfortable with what we're doing.
With developments in that area, including the outlet mall, it's forced the city to rezone some areas and tweak plans moving forward. Lori and her neighbors insist on being a part of that process.
You're coming to the meetings with charts and graphs and maps, and you're telling us this is what we've proposed. Well, who are we?
She's hoping we includes those like herself.
You can't stop progress, but you can design it in a way that works for everybody.
Lori says she felt at the end of the meeting it was harmonious. Everyone came to an understanding. City officials say they will brief council soon, but will also hold more meetings with those neighbors in the future. The planning coordinator says they had this meeting for this purpose, to hear people out. A date hasn't been set yet for a future meeting, but if you want to see the full presentation with all the details on the project, I have a link to that on my Facebook page. Chanu Her, 13 News Now.
We're learning more about a former Smithfield police officer charged with sex crimes against a minor. State police are investigating after Carl Washington was arrested in Isle of Wight County. Now, the sheriff's office tells us Washington is charged with sexual battery and indecent liberty with a minor. Smithfield police tell us Washington was not employed by the department when the charges were filed. They say he resigned as a Smithfield police officers looked into this misconduct claims. Well, more fallout tonight in the Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal. A high-ranking Michigan State University official has been arrested. This is part of an ongoing investigation into how the university handled complaints against Nassar. The former gymnastics doctor is now in prison for sexually abusing girls while he was supposed to be treating them. Authorities say William Strample is in custody, but did not release details on charges against him. Now, Strample was the dean of the College of Osteopathic Medicine until he announced a leave of absence for medical reasons in December. A news conference is scheduled for tomorrow. And tonight, state police identified 2 family members killed in a head-on collision in Zunai. We brought you this breaking news earlier. State police say 60-year-old John Mallory and 65-year-old Earl Mallory died when their car was hit by a grain truck. The Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office posted online tonight that John Mallory was a recently retired deputy and Earl Mallory was his brother, a jail maintenance supervisor. State police say a driver lost control of a farming truck, ran off the road and crossed the center lines of Route 460, slamming into the Mallory brothers.
We've heard it before, and it was we went out and it was about a quarter mile away, and we could tell it was a bad accident. It was just a thud. I mean, you could hear it sound like a truck hit a tree is what we thought. But that's all. I mean, you know, it's a long ways off for us to heard it, though. Must have been a heck of an impact.
Now, the driver, Walter Crocker, was flown to Centera Norfolk General Hospital, suffering from serious injuries. Now, he is charged with reckless driving. And late tonight, word that Arizona's governor has suspended Uber's self-driving car test after a woman was hit and killed last week while she crossed the street. Doug Ducey suspended Uber's testing privileges, saying that video of the crash raised safety concerns and showed an unquestionable failure. The crash was the first fatality involving a self-driving vehicle. Experts say Uber's technology should have seen the woman in time to avoid the crash. And new information also coming in tonight about a condo fire in Hampton that injured 3 people. The fire happened last Wednesday on Holliswood Road. Fire officials now say the fire was an accident caused by smoking materials. The home was destroyed. Now, of the 3 people injured, 1 is still in critical condition tonight. A second is stable and a third has been released from the hospital. And 4 Virginia Beach firefighters claim they were cheated out of a promotion and now they're suing the city. Now, according to court documents, the firefighters say former battalion chief William Reynolds gave answers to 2 candidates before the exam. Now, one of them, Ronson Carr, got a perfect score and was then promoted to captain. We talked to the firefighters' attorney and also the president of the Virginia Beach Professional Firefighter Association. They say the firefighters don't want money. They just want things to be done fairly.
They want the 2017 captain's promotional process to be thrown out, to be re-administered, and again to take part in a fair and equal process.
When you're part of the team and you're promoted as an officer, your crew trusts you. They believe that you've earned the promotion that you have, and they look up to you.
The city's personnel board held a hearing and unanimously decided that the captain's test was compromised. However, the board ruled to uphold the results of the test, and Carr remains a captain. The city says it handled the situation properly and will fight the lawsuit. Well, you may not recognize her, but Linda Brown changed America's history as she was the Kansas girl at the center of the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court ruling that struck down racial segregation in schools. Linda Brown died yesterday afternoon at the age of 76. Her family confirmed her death but did not want to make a comment. And tonight, parents will have a little extra peace of mind. Pocoson's mayor tells us City Council approved funding for a school resource officer in the upcoming budget. Now, we brought you this story earlier today. Parents, along with school and law enforcement officials, had been asking for it after the Florida school shooting. A City Council will move forward and apply for a grant, add an officer to the budget, and create a subcommittee to deal with school safety. Well, going to Virginia Tech is going to cost you more. Today, the Board of Visitors voted unanimously in favor of a nearly 3% tuition increase. This will be the 17th consecutive year that the school increased tuition and fees. Now, in-state undergraduates will pay nearly $400 more. Cost for out-of-state students, though, that will jump to about $900. The board also approved $3 million to renovate a ballroom in the Student Center. And Green Flash Brewery in Virginia Beach has gone bottoms up. The brewery lasted about 16 months despite high expectations when it first opened. But just a few months ago, they stopped distribution to 32 states and laid off 15% of their employees. Today, the workers at the Virginia Beach facility all lost their jobs. Green Flash is based in San Diego, California. The company's press release says it was too difficult for them to have operations on both coasts. Local brewers we talked to say they tried to expand too big and too quickly.
Why would somebody buy Green Flash beer over O'Connor's beer or Smart Mouth's beer or Fosterhund's beer? And I think that's part of the the issue was. If you look at some of the stats, if you produce more than 10,000 barrels, you actually had negative growth.
Now, the plan now is to sell the building and all the equipment inside to a new brewer. And we're told dozens have already shown interest.